often asked by the roofing industry, what's the maximum roof or building width on which ridge vents will be effective? The ridge vents will work properly. Today, we will discuss that as well as rafter runs. Hi there, welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Airing It Out with AirVent. My name is pscelsi. I host AirVent's Attic Ventilation Ask the Expert seminars, offered every winter to residential roofing professionals all across North America since 1998. Ridge vents have become a popular attic exhaust vent choice because of the combination of their low profile, nearly invisible appearance on the roof and their continuous, uniform airflow performance. Unlike the other four categories of attic exhaust vents, that's wind turbines, box vents or off-ridge vents, gable vents, and power fans, ridge vents are installed all along the peak of the roof to provide nonstop exhaust airflow. But is there a point in which the house or building is too wide, making the ridge vent non-effective? We will define roof width as the distance from eave to eave in plan view straight across the house or building. Picture a tape measure in my hand, and I'm running a straight horizontal line from one eave to the other eave, regardless of the roof pitch. With that in mind, a combination of ridge vent for attic exhaust airflow and a balanced amount of intake airflow, pick the most suitable type of intake for the project, will be effective on a roof that is 75 feet wide or less. This assumes the ridge vent being used provides 18 square inches of net free area per linear foot, which is a common standard in the industry, and is balanced with sufficient intake ventilation. This 75-foot maximum width is based on establishing absolute minimum International Residential Code (IRC) requirements for airflow through an attic at 1 square foot of net free area for every 300 square feet of attic floor space, balanced with 50% intake and 50% exhaust airflow. To stay within the 1/150 IRC building code airflow requirements, the maximum total width of the house would have to be 37.5 feet or less, straight line, eave to eave, across the roof. And just to clarify, 1/150 IRC means 1 square foot of net free area for every 150 square feet of attic floor space, balanced with half intake and half exhaust airflow. These maximum width numbers are based on the building code requirements and the net free area specifications of the ridge vent. Now let's talk about rafter runs. Another common question we receive from the roofing industry is, what's the maximum rafter run on which you can use a ridge vent? And by rafter run, they're asking about the distance from the eave to the peak of the roof on one side of the roof. There's two answers to this question, depending on the type of attic involved. If it's a traditional attic with a flat floor in which you can walk or crawl around in the attic, store items in the attic if you wanted, there is no limit to the rafter run. None. It does not matter what the distance is from eave to peak of roof. But please keep in mind, we just discussed a few minutes ago about the maximum width of the house or building. That's the first answer to this question about rafter runs. Here's the second answer. If it's a cathedral ceiling attic, defined as the 1.5-inch wide gap between the roof deck and the attic insulation that was supposed to be factored in during the original build, the rafter run max is 35 feet. That means we can expect the combination of balanced intake ventilation with a ridge vent for exhaust to provide proper airflow through the 1.5-inch wide cathedral ceiling attic with rafter runs up to 35 feet. For cathedral ceiling attics with longer than 35-foot rafter runs, the airflow gap between the roof deck and the insulation would need to increase to at least 2 to 3 inches wide to allow for an easier path for the air to travel along the extra distance. If you visit the Learning Hub on our website, GibraltarBuildingProducts.com, you'll find AirVent University, where we feature monthly lesson plans and fun 5-question pop quizzes. There is a lesson plan about building widths and rafter runs waiting for you, including detailed illustrations. Ridge vents are an excellent solution for attic exhaust airflow. Be mindful of the maximum house or building width on which ridge vents remain effective and understand rafter run limitations if it's a cathedral ceiling attic. Well, that wraps up this episode. Please leave a review on YouTube or whatever platform you used to listen to this episode. Be sure to let us know if there's a topic you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Maybe you'd like to be a guest one day, or maybe you know someone who would make a great guest. Drop us a note on the podcast page of our website, GibraltarBuildingProducts.com. You can also reach out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X. And please come back for more Airing It Out with AirVent. I'm pscelsi. Thanks for listening.